We're also very keen to show that boys can show their skills outside of school, and to that end Miss Beckett has been taking boys along to the FutureChef competition for the last couple of years, and we've had quite a few winners. I will let Miss Beckett then tell you how well we got on this year and see the success that we've had.
So the FutureChef competition is something that we have taken part in for the past 4 years at Campbell. So it is run by the Springboard charity, and you're invited to enter as many pupils from school as you want. So you have a school heat, which is the first opportunity where you have to cook a main course, Michael?
Yeah.
Yeah, a main course is your first dish that you have to do. And then you're then judged at that level. And then we take 2 winners from the school heat and they go to the local stages. So this year, our local stage was at the Met, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which campus? The Springvale campus Met. So you go down and use all of their professional kitchens. So we were meant to take 2 people, but then because of COVID, we were only able to actually take 1 person. So Michael was the person that came to the local. So at that level, Michael, would you say that's a lot more intense than the school heat?
Yeah, it was harder.
It's harder. Why did you think it was harder?
I didn't actually do the school heat because I had COVID.
Because we had COVID, yeah. So we had to just enter pretty much the 2 people that we had from last time. So whenever you go, you're up against 6 other people. And you all have your own workstation. So I think it's more intense because you've got judges walking around, you've got different people from the charity, you've got people from the tech, so they're in and out as well at the college there. So it's a lot more intense at that point. And then we got to the local final, and did 2 winners go from the local?
1.
1 winner. So Michael was the overall winner of the local heat, which then meant that he went into the regional final. So at that point, that was a step up again. So we were in Belfast Met for the local final, and you have similar judges, but you're tasked with making, what do you have to do at that level?
A main course and dessert.
Within
an hour and a half.
Yeah, an hour and a half for 2 people. So you have to have 1 that's plated, that's eaten, and then you have 1 for photographs and stuff for the judges. So do you think that was a step up again from the local one?
Yeah, because there's industry chefs, John Christoph Novelli and Michael Dean judged it.
Yeah.
And also then Jeff, the development chef from Henderson's, was also there.
Yeah, so that's a much higher level. So after the local stage, you're given a chef mentor. So Michael was given John Clark, so he is head chef at the AC Marriott Hotel in Belfast. And do you want to explain what you did with John? Literally from the minute I think we ended the local heat, what did you have to do with John?
Well, we got a phone call and we were told to just start practicing. So for Christmas, so we were just told to start practicing.
Yeah.
He told us that he was thinking about a chicken mousseline with mashed potato and a tarte tatin. So we made a couple tarte tatins over Christmas. And
it all sounded very easy at the time, didn't it?
Yeah.
Until you actually have to do it, yeah.
And then we went in for a week of work experience in the Marriott, where he just walked me through the dishes. It got harder each day, and then with the last 3 days it was challenge trials. So my mentor just stepped back and just let me cook for the 90 minutes.
Yeah, so I think that's a different experience as well from what you would get in home economics. So you have a professional kitchen, you've got all the professional equipment. I think whenever you were with John, you also met his whole restaurant team.
Yeah.
So you met the sous chefs and everyone that's involved, I think, in making a restaurant run and actually work properly. So I think that's a really good experience. Obviously, Michael, you study hospitality, and that's something that we look at as well in year 13 and year 14. So I think to actually get in and have hands-on experience is very different to looking at it in a book. Yeah,
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I agree.
And a lot more intense.
Yeah, 'cause you have to work around the orders and
Yeah,
people
yeah.
run around.
Yeah, there was always something going on, wasn't there? And then
Yeah.
obviously you had COVID and you had people off, and then I think at one point wasn't John working 90 hours or something in a week to try and get things covered, also trying to fit Michael in to do his work at the same time, and then you were practicing at home as well. And what did you learn from John? Because you took all of that whenever we went to the national final, so what did you learn from him here?
Well, I learned what a mousseline was.
Yeah, that's
yeah. Which it's just a stuff. So you blitz your chicken breast with cream, and we put pine nuts in it and herbs, and then you stuff your chicken legs and thighs with your mousseline. and in that way you used your whole chicken, which got you more marks.
Yeah, and you also had to do a lot of butchering of the chicken, didn't you?
Yeah.
So you had kind of done that at that level anyway, so you were pretty experienced, ready going into the national final, because it then came as a shock. So you won then the regional final.
Yeah.
Then we got told in a very short period of time that he had to go to London to compete in the national final, which was, again, we had never been there, so we had never got to this level. So you had 12 other competitors there from all over the UK, and you were given very, very strict instructions at that point. So you had a recipe guide, didn't you? Ingredients that you were allowed to pick from.
Yeah, 45-minute butchery. So you had, it was the first time in the competition they had a butchery element to the competition. So you had 45 minutes to butcher a chicken, and everyone had to do a chicken, and then they had a list of ingredients.
Yeah, you had a list of ingredients.
That you had to pick from to choose your main, and then you had to make a panna cotta, and you had to bring something from your country to the competition. So I did an Irishman's breakfast panna cotta, which was with granola and Bushmills whiskey.
So yes, how many times did you practice making a panna cotta?
Too many.
Yes. So the key point was you had to get the wobble in. So you had lots of technical issues there. So I think you and John tried lots of different ways to set it, didn't you?
Yeah.
I think you had lots of different setting agents and trying to work out which one was going to be best in the time. London was an experience, wasn't it? That was a completely different level again. So another step up. So we flew over on the Sunday.
Yeah.
Had a little look around London. Basically, we had then the meal that night. So you go and meet with all the other competitors, all the other chefs, people from all over the industry. And they cooked us a meal, then a 3-course meal that night, using the same list of ingredients that everyone was going to use the next day. So we got a panna cotta that night, didn't we?
Yeah.
I'm sure you're probably sick of it by that point. And then they had made, what was the starter? I can't remember.
It was fish.
Fish, wasn't it? And then we had chicken for the main course at that point as well. So you got to meet everyone. You met all of the competitors that night. I think everyone was probably a little bit nervous, ready for an early night, because then the competition was on the Monday. So basically, as soon as we arrived to Westminster Kingsway College, you were taken away pretty much. You went in with your mentor and they were allowed to set up the kitchen area, and then John had to leave you, didn't he?
Yeah.
So how long were you in the kitchen for all together? About, was it 2 hours 45? Nearly 3 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours 45.
2 hours 45 on their own, so no one else is allowed in the kitchen apart from the million judges that were there.
12.
There was 12 judges, so that meant for your butchery section you had one person watching you, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was 1-to-1, so really, really intense. So they were marking all of the skills throughout. Then you went into service and you had an hour and a half again, but it was for 4 people, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, you're making double the amount of dishes, so double dessert and double of the main course, not starter. And how did you find that?
Hard. I served it on time by like
You did?
30 seconds.
You got it
was very
on
close.
time, yeah. Because I think for us as well, we were outside so we couldn't see. So there was main courses coming out, and there was desserts coming out, and they're all just sat. So their name tag is sat, and then the food is brought out to it. So we were waiting very patiently beside your name tag. I think we were stressing out a little bit, but you got it out in time,
Yeah.
and it looked really, really good. And then your desserts were all, there was just so many. Did you look at them all at the end, or were you done with it by that point?
I didn't get the chance.
You didn't get a chance, yeah. So I've taken lots of photographs because the standard is really, really high. So everyone there has a mentor chef who is basically a head chef or an executive chef, or they've done the competition several times. So I think this was John's first go through with us as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and our first time at that level. And what would you say to anyone who is aiming to do that? What would they need to do? Lots of
Practice.
practice, and would you say a lot of dedication?
Yeah.
Hard work?
Yeah, you have to listen to your mentor because they know what to do and they help you through it.
And your mentor literally knew what you were doing to every single second on your time plan, didn't
Yeah.
he? So whenever we were sitting outside, he could look at the time plan and say, this is where he should be, this is next, this is the next step, and you were kind of following it in the kitchen. And what about anybody that wants to enter FutureChef? So we're going to obviously run it again in September and October. So what would you say to those people starting out their journey, which is what you did?
Well, just practice and don't worry about it. It's not that hard. It's not that nerve-wracking. I was nervous when I where I'm waiting to get in. But once you get in, it's fine because all you're thinking about is cooking.
And would you say that people are helpful?
Yeah, they're not they're very nice.
Yeah, it seems scary, doesn't it? I think when you're in front of those chefs and those professional people, but actually once you get in there, they're not there to try and trip you up. You know, if something's burning,
yeah, they'll take it off.
They're gonna take it off and they'll help you, so they would never leave you to struggle. So I think it's trying something new. If you're interested in cooking and you're interested in baking and all of those elements, I think it's just give it a go and try. And if you don't get through the first time, you have to just keep going. And I think, Michael, you're keen to enter again.
Yeah.
Even though I think you said no after I asked you on that day of the national, not again. But I think once you've done it a few times and you've gone through, and most people we spoke to have maybe done the local or the regional heat maybe 2 or 3 times. So I think it's something you just have to keep going and keep practicing. But anything else you learned from the experience? Did you get to meet new people?
Henderson's.
Yeah.
Henderson's have been inviting me to trade shows. They invited me to IFEX and I did a demo at IFEX.
Of what?
My panna cotta.
Again.
And then they invited me to one of their events where they got a chocolate brand in to do a demo.
Yeah. And
got to watch all and taste all the chocolate.
Well, it's not too difficult. So Jeff Baird is the new product development chef at Henderson Spoon. So he's been very supportive to Michael throughout the whole competition. So he judged a little bit of it, and then he came with us to London. And I suppose we couldn't really have done it without Katrina, could we?
No.
Even though she nagged us all the time about emails, but Katrina Lennox, she works at Springboard, so she coordinated basically everything for us. So she would say, right, this is when this heat's coming up, this is next. And then every time we kind of got through a next round, she would plan and put us on to the next bit and kind of keep us right, especially with London, because there was a lot of organisation that went into that, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Fairly quickly. It was a very, very quick turnaround. So I think we're very grateful that we've got to work with lots of different people, and I think we'll stay in contact with all of those people for a long time and use them to our advantage within the hospitality department, which is great.